Les. Hey, it's me, J.Evans, and it's time for my Divas of Music segment. Now, Divas of Music is a segment that I do where I interview a famous diva. I previously spoke with Don Robertson, formerly of Lucy Pearl in Vogue. Y'all remember Don. If you missed that interview, click in that description. It's there. I also interviewed Cassandra Lucas, formerly of Changing Faces. If you missed it, it's there. But this time I flipped the script a little bit and I interviewed the legend herself because she is a diva of music, not of song, but of entertainment, Leslie Big Les Segar. So if you are not familiar with Les, and I don't know where you've been, but she is an icon from dance to hosting, TV, radio. She's done it all. So sit back, relax, get caught up. If you need to get yourself a drink, if you need to get yourself a snack, because I am talking the talk and chopping it up with Les, go ahead, relax, relate, release, because this interview was one for the books. I had a good time talking to Les. In these segments, we discuss the past, the present, and the future of the diva, and we got all that and more from Les. So y'all get ready. We're gonna roll into it. And if you are not one of my apple pies, those are my subscribers. Go ahead and subscribe. Set your notifications. So we'll roll into my intro, into a few commercial spots, and then bam, I'm gonna blow it on up. My interview with Les will kick off. Sit back, relax, get ready. Let's talk about it. Hey, it's me. Donna, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. You're a joy. Thank you so much.
That's right, y'all. It's me, J.Evans, and it's time for us to talk the talk.
Hi, are you looking for affordable yet fashionable clothing? Look no further. Give us a look at www.bendthetrendbtq.com. You can also check us out on social media via Instagram at BendTheTrendBTQ and also on Facebook, BendTheTrendBTQ, where we carry women's clothing, accessories, and shoes. Now back to J.Evans. Let's talk the talk.
LL Cool J video, that's Les. Whitney Houston video, that's Les. Michael Jackson video, you know that's Les. Les!
Hey!
How are you?
I'm good. What's going on? How y'all doing?
I'm good because I'm chopping it up with you like veggies in a food processor for Thanksgiving dressing.
I can't. I appreciate the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this with me, Les, because you didn't have to do it, but the reason why I wanted to interview you, because I do a segment that I put on YouTube called Divas of Music, and you're not a singer, but you are a diva of music. You've done so much in the industry, and whether people know it or not, it's important to highlight it. So for those that don't know, and if they don't know, I don't know where they've been, but I'm going to do this introduction, and then we're going to roll into the interview, okay?
Absolutely. I'm following your lead.
Okay, so y'all, Leslie Big Les Segar is an entertainment legend. She's choreographed and danced in videos for music royalty like Heavy D, Salt-N-Pepa, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, LL Cool J, and she choreographed Mary J. Blige's first two videos from Worcester 411. You Remind Me and Real Love, that's the power of Les. Now, Real Love went on to get nominated for Best Choreography at the MTV Music Awards. Did y'all know that? Les then took her talents to BET. She's hosted on Video Soul. Then she went on to host and be a producer on Rap City for 7 years. She also became a force in radio, hosting #1 shows in various markets. Les is also an actress. Did y'all know that? She's appeared in movies like Who's the Man, New Jersey Drive, and Have Plenty. Now, every time we watch an episode of Living Single, that's Les dancing in that opening. A lot of people don't know that, but that is Les. She's appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show, hosted red carpet interviews. She's also a fitness guru and has stepped into fashion with Big Les Dance Designs, available on her website, www.leslieseger.com. Y'all go over there and get your fashion game up. Les has a bachelor's in psychology with a minor in theater from Springfield College. That's true?
No, my bachelor's in exercise physiology and sports medicine. You said psychology. I was like,
Okay, I'm sorry. But correct me, Les. And she also got a full gymnastics scholarship. Now, we've all heard the expression, jack of all trades. Well, Jack has nothing on Les because she's the definition of a Jill of all trades. She stays booked and busy in all areas of entertainment and is the perfect example of the song Young, Gifted, and Black. So, Les, thank you for doing this with me.
I like the young part. I'm hanging on for that.
You are forever young.
I love you. Thank you. I'm trying.
Now, for those that don't know, because you started in dance, when did your love of dance start, and what made you choose dance as your first route?
Really, my first route was gymnastics. You know, I was a tom girl doing backflips in the park, on the grass, on the mattresses, in the streets, tearing up my mother's house. And then my mom trampoline class, and trampoline instructor was like, she's really good, you need to put her in a gymnastic class. And I was about 10 or 11, which is really late for gymnastics, and within a year I was competing in national competitions and went on to, like, you know, New York State champion, and then I got a full scholarship to a couple of places that I applied, like Penn State, I forget, Cortland State up in New York, and I went to Massachusetts to Springfield College on a full ride. But dance comes from me being like a club kid and a city girl, you know, sneaking into the roller skating rink and the clubs at like 15, because, you know, everybody had the fake New York ID. You know, my age at that time, I was full grown, so I was able to get into the clubs and then to just see everybody like battling and dancing. And for me, it went from loving break dancing, but then I got exposed to house music, and then the house dancing and the sexiness and the flyness and the freeness that just spoke to my soul. And so when it was time for me to graduate, I was like, I'm going back to New York. I need to get to Broadway. I was watching music videos from my dorm room. You know, it could be anybody from Jody Watley to when Paula Abdul first came out, and Janet and all that stuff. And I was like, I could do that. I could do that. I don't see any black girls flipping. Let me see. And that was the mission. I was like, got to New York and started pounding the pavement. So, you know, dance is part of my New York essence and being a club kid 7 days a week.
I love it. Now, you choreographed and danced in so many iconic videos. What are some of your favorites?
Oh, boy. You know what's crazy is I think even a lot of my favorites probably never got some of the bigger light of day. You know, like one of, I think, where you can best see some of my dance work is the Adiva video. It should have been me. You know, Adiva, just a little bit. She was a house music. If you go on YouTube, it's there, and you see me like backflipping down the aisle of the church and all this other stuff. But I had some amazing moments really working on certain projects. Like, you know, Mary is dear to my heart. She was a new artist over at Uptown. Uptown was my family because I had been working with Heavy D and with Guy and Father MC. And, you know, Mary and I were like sisters. You would have thought we were in Brownies together, or, you know.
We down here with Mary J. Blige, and she is a dancing diva. 1992, 93, 94. Tell them, come on, show them that running man. Come on, Mary. Don't believe that, y'all. Now, y'all see, she gets busy. Nah, but if it wasn't for Leslie, you know, I wouldn't know, I wouldn't know half of the things that I know that you guys see me doing. You remind me and all that. She has so much patience with me, and if you, anybody ever want to learn how to dance, anything, and you need somebody to be patient with you, this is who you call.
If you're in the Ridgeville, Mississippi, or the surrounding Jackson area, come visit us, Inspire by Chance. You've had the rest, now you deserve the best. We specialize in full body waxing and custom facials for women and men. Give us a call for a free phone consultation at 769-208-5021. It's time to relax, rejuvenate, and renew the skin you're in.
Now back to J.Evans. Let's talk the talk.
You know, day camp together or something. So when we met, it was like how they say kismet. It really was. And we just had so many moments because both of us were coming up in the industry together. I had already started a dance career, but this was like my first embark on a choreography career. And we were just two of the same. You know what I mean? Like peas in a pod. It was just amazing working with her. Working with my very first artist, J. Williams. He was a big house music artist. Had a song called Sweat. I had a partner, Barbara Tucker. We danced. I was known as Hugs and Kisses. I was Kisses. She was Hugs. Oh, no, I was Hugs. She was Kisses. Excuse me. And no, I was Kisses. She was Hugs. What am I saying? And we used to it was #1 on the charts. And so we toured. We did like 4 and 5 clubs between New York and New Jersey, the Paradise Garage, Kilimanjaro, the World, the Choice, the Shelter. I mean, just so many clubs. And that really gave me my exposure. You know how when you see, I guess, some band members or like lounge singers and they start in those real smoky whatever clubs. Well, that's what it was. For us. It was small clubs. The stages were like as big as my desk here in the office. And, you know, we just made it work. But those were some of the best times.
I remember the box from back in the day.
Of course.
And Mary was on there and you were on there with her. And y'all were like so young and innocent. I remember that.
We used to run up and down those Harlem streets, and New York City was our playground. You know, that's kind of, you know, that's what you do. And a lot of us, not a lot of us, but I think her, we were latchkey kids. And for those who don't know, it's like if your parents aren't together, or maybe they are, and they work 2 and 3 jobs, you literally have to get yourself home from school, feed yourself, do your own homework. And so you grew up fast. And in New York, you learn to take the train at like 7, 8, 9, you hop on the bus. You do what you got to do. So your independence comes from, you know, your family and just have to survive out there on your own. So
what moment did you realize that I've made it? Like a certain video you got, or just what set you off to know, like, I'm Les, everybody knows me?
I'm not there yet. I haven't made it yet. I just see what people don't understand. Like once you are in the industry, then it's just as harder to maintain. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, 9 to 5, but when you work for yourself, you work 24/7. So you barely get a chance to really enjoy some of the projects that you're on. And while you're on a project, you're looking 10 steps ahead for the next one and the one that comes after that, because they're over so fast. A week of rehearsal, unless it's like a major tour, and even that tour ends. I think I probably felt like I was like my pinky toe was in the industry. When I booked my first tour, which was the Key Sweat tour, the Triple Threat tour with B.T. and Johnny Gill. And from that tour, people would meet me backstage, and that's how I ended up dancing for God. Like Teddy and Aaron and Damien were like backstage at the dressing room waiting for me, like, I'm coming on tour with us. As well, like, oh, no, I need to have you. And so that kind of was the thing. And so you just never really feel like you made it. Once you're in the trenches, I think anybody who feels like they made it, they've gotten comfortable and complacent, and that's a problem. So I'm not there yet. You're not.
But I think you are, because I like grew up watching you. My first memory of you is the LL Cool J Around the Way Girl video. That song is classic. That video, you were like dancing down.
Thank you. Thank you. We had so much fun. Shout out to Jennifer Farris and Sherelle Brown. They choreographed that video. And it was a lot of fun. You know, I was dressed crazy. I didn't think I looked like a typical. I mean, I'm from Queens, right? But I wasn't the stylist. So I'm like, no. I'm like, where my bamboo earrings at? What's what? But hey, I look a little crazy. So when I look at it, I'm like, wait a minute. But that was really, really good. And it allowed me, actually, I think it was one of the Grammy shows or the Billboard Awards shows that I actually got to dance with LL. Mama Said Knock You Out performance. And someone actually just sent me that on YouTube, and I hadn't seen it in 1,000 years, which was good.
I think you were flying that video. Now, would you ever do like a dance show? I feel like we don't have one for like the hip hop kind of R&B kind of world. So would you ever create a show, be like a judge? Have you ever thought about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even I've been working with my agents to try and get me on So You Think You Can Dance as a judge. I love that show. I respect it. And I wish it was around when I was like in full throttle dancing. I think I would have done amazing, or it would have been amazing. It's a great opportunity. I absolutely am trying to create a show of that kind. Sense. So let's pray for your girl that somebody picks it up and says, yes, Les, yes. But absolutely, to be a judge on one of these shows would be a dream come true.
Now, your career is so versatile. You've worn so many hats. A lot of people sometimes can only stay in one lane. When you branched off into TV and radio, what gave you the confidence to do it? Because some people kind of get stifled, like, it's safe here, I'm going to stay here. What made you be like, I can do this?
Well, you know, even with gymnastics and me not even looking forward to a dance career, my mother would always say, well, what are you going to do? You know, you can't do gymnastics forever. What are you going to do? Right. So you always have to kind of figure out, all right, my college degree, you know, I'm into like sports medicine, athletic training, blah, blah, blah. But when I really just focused on dance, I was just like, okay, the injuries started to kick in and things started to hurt. But I also knew, too, that once you're in a little bit that you have access and opportunities for other things. And I remember in high school, I took a journalism class, which a couple of them, which I loved, and then one I hated, which made me actually change my major and go back to sports medicine. But I still love writing and reading and interviewing and talking, and I'm just curious by nature. And so when Rap City happened for me, which that was a transition from dance, that gave me an opportunity to talk and be like, put a name to the face of the dancer and actually know that I actually have some intelligence and some sense about myself, you know. But watching people like Debbie Allen make the transition from, you know, dancer to actor to producer to choreographer, then you realize you have to keep evolving once you're in the game. And those are great ways to evolve. And I think nobody is more visionary and expressive than a dancer, right? We're in touch with our bodies, we're in touch with direction, we know where our facing and look and storytelling in that sense with our bodies and stuff. So I think to me, learning and picking apart those skills help, you know, and still kept me in being able to express myself.
How did Rap City end up happening for you? Because you not only hosted, but you were a producer. How did that happen?
Rap City happened. I was asked to be a guest on Madeline Wood's video LP show as a dancer, and I performed on that show, and they got to sit on the couch and have a whole conversation with her. And we talked about all the people that I had toured with and, you know, been on the road with, and people forget that, you know, you're in rehearsals weeks at a time. You're on the road months and months at a time. You see people without their lashes and their wigs, crying, arguing with families, cursing people out. Like, you have bonds and relationships where you actually become part of the family. And so I had so much information about, you know, these artists and stuff that I work with. The producers from Rap City came downstairs. It was Sanita Brooks and Keith Paschal, and said, we never thought about it until we saw this interview of having a girl host Rap City. Would you love to do it? So I auditioned a zillion times. They had to fight for me upstairs because, one, the power of, you know, women weren't really allowed to speak in hip hop. You always had to have like a male crew behind you or something like that, even female MCs. So that, and then I had to, you know, appease the men upstairs because for some, I didn't look the part, but because I had so much knowledge and really kind of grew up in this industry with some of these artists, even before they had their deals, they gave me a shot and it proved to work to my benefit. The artists and the labels started to request doing their interviews just with me because they knew me from the club. They knew me when they were doing the open mic. I was in the circle, battle dancing and all that stuff. So they knew they could trust me with their stories. And that's how that happened. And producing, even though I was there for 7 years, it didn't happen like the last 2 years. I had moved to LA and transitioned into radio and started shooting Rap City during the radio show, but they couldn't always get a producer. And I have really, really amazing producers who taught me a lot about being on camera and behind the camera. And they gave me the opportunity to produce those segments. So.
Now, I never knew that. Now, that some of the things you touched on leads me into this question. Is it hard being a working woman in the industry, and to you, has it gotten any better, especially for Black women in the industry?
Yes, yes, and yes. Hard. You know, unfortunately, whether it's racism or colorism, it exists, right? Racism is against people who don't look like you, and the colorism is people who look like you. So sometimes you're too Black, or, you know, not light enough, your hair is too nappy, your nose is too big, blah, 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 or just being Black for other people. So that was one of the struggles, absolutely. And then, you know, everybody has that stigma that anytime you have a point of view or an opinion that you're a bitch, no matter how you say it, right? Because it's not what you say, it's how you. And even though you come across intelligent with supporting information and stuff like that, you know, you're a diva, you're this, you're that. And it's always like, no, this is my facts. Here's the supporting information. And it's always something else. And they always try and over sexualize you, which is, you know, that kind of thing. You have to find your lane. And then I think for me as a dancer, and I tell all my female dancers this too, because our body is our instrument, that you have to find a time or decide in your career when you're going to take a break to start a family, right? Because that's going to be at least the first 2 years of the child's life where you're pregnant for 9 months and then, you know, caring and all that other stuff. And I think for me, I didn't make that plan, even though I always thought I would be a mother, because my career just kept going and going and going and going and going and going. And I was just nonstop working. And I was in a relationship for very long, 2 relationships, really, really, really long time. And by the time we decided we were going to start a family, I was a little older. I was like, okay, you know, so I just sure you plan out your life and your career where you make sure you carve out that time, ladies, for yourself, and fellas too, because these women can't do it by themselves. And you need to stay at home, help her, and take care of it. So male dancers, you got to figure that out too. One of y'all can't be on the road talking about, I'm going to make this money, and the other one home. And you know what I'm saying? Like those for something. So
Now, what are some of your favorite interviews? Because you've done so many, either in television or radio.
Oh boy. Yeah, I have the Rolodex is going like this right now in my head. I think the ones that stick out most for me, especially during Rap City, is because I was part of the era where we got to travel, right? You know, Chris Thomas was in his Rare World, and then Tigger was basement. So we were the era that got to travel to every city and hang out with Common in Chicago and Scarface in Texas. So for me, it was like literally hanging out with Rap-A-Lot Records with Lil J. I didn't know that he owned like damn near a plantation, but he had his own farm and he horses, which was dope. Coming out to the West Coast, you know, I got my first low rider ride with Dub C. in a helicopter, or me and Exhibit on a jet ski. Then we went to Jamaica, so we got to hang out with like Stapleton and Buju Banton and all. So all of those really good. I think content-wise, the best conversations were people like EPMD and DJ Premier and Ice-T, because they always, you know, the legends and the people who've been in the game a long time have so much information to say. And they school you. They don't just be like, you know what I'm saying, where I keep it real, you know what I'm saying? Detail, insight, and all of that stuff. So those are some of my best interviews.
I think one thing people loved about your interviews, and I did, is that you asked the questions that we were thinking. Like, even if it was something controversial, you did it like in a classy way. It wasn't like a shock value. You just got to what we wanted to know. Yeah,
I try. You know, there's always that hard line, right? Because you want to have journalistic integrity. You don't want the person you're interviewing to shut down or to be like, curse you out while you're on the air, but you still have to ask the question. And I knew a lot of these people, so they trusted me, and I didn't want to come off like I was some like sensationalist. I'm not into that kind of interview. There are people out there who do all the gossip and all the nasty, grimy, whatever, and I'm not that chick. I'm just not.
Which one is more challenging, if it is TV or radio?
They're both challenging. I think they're both challenging in different ways, right? Because radio is what they say is theater of the mind. So you really have to get people excited as if their eyes were closed, and so they're listening to you, and the things that you say really penetrate their soul. TV, they get to see everything, right? So you kind of have to always be aware of your posture, your outfit, and they talk more about through television about, yeah, your hair was busted. Yo, her makeup was crazy. You see the makeup wearing, like, wait, does she have a stomach? You know what I'm saying? All that comes. But I'm comfortable in both genres. You know, I've been on display since I was 9 or 10 in a leotard, on a balance beam, on a, you know what I mean? So I'm not shy. I kind of know my angles now, you know, still. So they're both challenging in their own ways. I prefer television for sure. Over radio, but I love them both.
I like seeing you on TV because we get the full effect of Les.
Yeah, I love you. Thank you.
Now, Michael K. Williams recently passed. He was an amazing actor, but a lot of people did not know he was a dancer as well. What's your best memory of him?
Oh boy. Sorry. See, there's a whole bunch, right, that grew up in this industry as dancers. Myself, Flex Alexander, Darren DeWitt Henson, Elise Neal, like we were all club kids, Jennifer Lopez, like all of us hung out in Washington Square Park, broke as all hell. So we all, Michael included, we all would hang out in the park with clothes in our backpacks, just like nowhere to go. Some of us didn't have jobs, some of us didn't have places to live, you know, to lay our heads, but the club and the dancing was always that thing. And Michael was always somebody who wasn't like, you thought he was manly in regard to just being hardcore hip hop. And the next day I remember he just kind of gave you this soft shoe and flow. Like, yo, you've been holding back. We didn't us, you know what I mean? Like he was dope and slick with it. And I just remember all of us, like, for like the original Breakfast Club or something like that, where or St. Elmo's Fire, like we all just were together all the time, auditioning all together all the time, you know, telling our woes and crying and stuff all the time. I had seen him quite a few times after his TV success and whatever, and we'd be like in the corner just catching up and then talking about other projects and life and about, can you believe we got here and all of this other stuff. So, you know, it's tough, but he was very, very special. We worked on Crystal Waters' 100% Pure Love together. They brought me in.
Yeah.
He had been dancing for Crystal prior, so they brought me in for the music video and stuff, and they worked on it together, because you never want to steal what the dancers are used to or what they're comfortable with, or this is their show, because I wasn't dancing with Crystal. So even the music video, I come in, and so it was a joint collaboration, and we had a real time. And I just love him and miss him so much, and it breaks my heart. You know, these last couple of years have been tough. You know, for me, it's Andre Pharrell, right? It's DMX, it's Biz Markie. I was like 19, 20. You know, all of these people. So just sending prayers and condolences.
Yeah, because I never would think, like, from my generation, from growing up like in a real golden age of hip hop, you know, we all have to die at some point, but these people are so young, and it's kind of like scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very scary. And you see, it's been a chain of men, and I've been having this conversation like, fellas, please take care of yourself, whether it's from mental health, physiological health. Go get your check-ups, go talk to somebody. What you got to do, because we want you around. So, you know.
Now, who would you want to play you in a biopic of your life story?
Oh, my God. I've never been asked this question. Oh, my God. Who would I want to play me? Probably Regina King, because she's so badass as an actress, but I need somebody who can legitimately dance, right?
Yes.
You hate seeing that. Who do I think? The only person I think, whose dance style that I really love, she's as close to Black persuasion as I can get, are two people, is Taja Riley, which is Teddy Riley's daughter, and Paris Goebel. Paris is so, but she doesn't look like me. She did, and you've seen her. She's the one who choreographs the Savage and all that stuff in the royal family, and she's so fierce. But I need someone who looks like me or can dance like me, and I don't know who that is now. And Tasha's much smaller than I am. So, you know, and for those who keep asking, like, Big Les is only like 5'6". I'm not like Lisa Les. When people see me in person, they're like, you're not that big. I'm like, but I look big on camera, or I'm big for a gymnast, right? I have a picture on my IG page with me and Simone Biles, and she's like my breast. She's tiny, tiny. And that's the average size of a gymnast. I just happen to be taller.
But I think if Hollywood does it, and they need to, I would like to see somebody play you to like a certain age, and then you come in for the rest of the movie and wrap it up.
You're my agent now. Oh, yes. You know, the one thing I haven't been able to check off my box is, you know, superhero-ness. And I've always wanted to bring the Pam Grier-esque to the next level. And all these sisters who I love who are playing, you know, superheroes, and, you know, Megan Thee Stallion's about to be part of Marvel Comics and stuff. They still don't possess the physicality of gymnastics and athleticism that I would love to bring to the camera. The way, you know, Tom Cruise gets to do some of his stunts. If you look on my page, I trapeze, I trampoline, I do all these things. And so while Mother's still hanging on and I got some tricks left, I'm like, come on, Brian or Ava, somebody, call your girl, I'm ready.
What would be your dream role if you went into acting? Now, you just said Pam Grier. If she did a story on her life, I could see you playing Pam.
Absolutely.
I could see that.
Absolutely. But I love action. I'm such a Tom girl still that, you know, dramatic action. I know comedy I love, and I love sometimes I think I'm as funny as her, but comedy I think is really hard. But, you know, as long as there's some action in there, and yeah, I would love to challenge myself to somewhere where I have to cry and where I don't look like Les to people. You know how, like, to me, one of Halle Berry's best roles is she played the crackhead in Jungle Fever. I loved her in that, right? She didn't even look like herself. And so I want to be able to transform in that way. So people really be like, yo, she did the damn thing.
Yeah. I think you could do Pam, her book, Foxy in 3 Stages. Yeah. Like, it's not all like glitz and glam. Like, she's had an interesting life. So I could see you being her. Now, for the fitness, you know, since COVID, a lot of people, including me, have gained weight. Can you still whip people into shape? Are you still training?
Absolutely. Hold on, let me see. Can you still?
Yes, come through, man.
Don't think I didn't catch the COVID-15 like the freshman 15. You know what I'm saying? I'm 15 pounds like everybody else because I didn't have that much. I've never had that much food in my house. And the Doritos would be like, Les, come here. And then once I was like, get it together. And I would like watch D Nice or Easy Mo B, who's doing a house set DJing on Instagram. And I'd be like literally dancing in my living room for like 2 hours. And then I started, because I'm in California, take my bike out, ride to the beach. And then I was riding every day for sanity purposes. And I was like, oh no, we're not doing that. And so I was like, otherwise I'll be more depressed. So I've just pulled it together. And, but that's part of my DNA and who I am. I can't still, you know, like I say, I call myself Sporty Spice, and I still train like adult gymnastics so I can tumble a little bit, all of that stuff. So I got to keep it moving. And I got to stay ready, right? You can't get ready. You got to stay ready. So I got to let them have it. 21-year-olds ain't got nothing on me, damn it. I just need a little ibuprofen. That's it.
Nothing. They can't compete, Les. Now, if the Les of 2021 could go back in time to the Les of 1992, what would you tell her, or what advice would you give her?
I would say save more money or invest earlier, for sure. And get a team of people around me. Like, branding wasn't a word that existed in 92. And even though I'm still going into other things, attaching myself to products, I should have done that earlier, because I had like nice really getting myself attached to like fitness projects and all those things to kind of substantiate myself for when the quiet starts to come, because the phone stops ringing for people all the time, even your A-list celebrities. So those things then could have kept me afloat during the valleys, you know what I mean? So I would have told my 92-year-old self, like, get an agent or get a branding person, and like, let's lock some stuff down. So
okay, Les, so I'm about to wrap up because I know you got a podcast going on, but what else do you have that you're working on that you can tell us about so everybody can stay connected to you and follow what you're doing?
I appreciate 20 things. Okay, real quick. One, myself and Joe Claire are back in business together.
Yeah.
The Ruckus with Big Les and Joe Claire. We're going to be dropping, it actually dropped this after 4 o'clock. So if you go to YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and then I'll put it on my page in a minute, we have Bone Crusher this week. And so we're trying to work out a new TV deal. So pray for us there. I'm putting on my director's hat and working on a dance documentary. So we got to tell the stories about the women of the golden era. And yes, thank you for sharing the dance design. So just go to Spreadshirt.com, Big Les Dance Designs, or the link in my bio on my Instagram. I am Leslie Segar, LESLIEAR. That's my pro page, the blue check page, but then my ratchet page is your girl Les. That's what I curse folks out at. So emotional stuff off my chest.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of it for now that I can talk about. So,
So I'm gonna post this on YouTube. I'll put the information in the link. Les has a YouTube channel. Y'all go subscribe. It's Leslie Segar. Go to her website, www.lesliesegar. You can look at all her information, shop, get caught up with Les and everything she's got going on. Les, thank you so much for doing this with me. This was like my dream. I've watched you for so long, your career, and you moving and shaking. And I just want to say I appreciate you. I love everything you've done. You're an inspiration, and you are a diva of music.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I don't have my glasses on, y'all, so I can't see, but we are living.
Hey.
Hey. Bye.
Bye, Liz. Thank you. Wait a minute. J.Evans does interviews too? Bam! Dawn, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. What was you talking about, a legend?
You. Dawn Robertson, formerly of In Vogue and formerly of Lucy Pearl. Diva Dawn is solo and calling her own shots. It's Donnie.
You are genius with your history here, Jay. You're giving me life right now today.
Matthew, that appeared on MTV's Catfish on one of the most iconic episodes when Chance walked over and pulled off his hair unit. Oh, you wrong for that. It's Matthew, that's right, from the iconic Catfish episode on MTV. Matthew, what's up?
What's going on, Jay? How's everything going?
I'm good. I'm chopping it up with you like an onion in a food processor. And we gonna get caught up with you, and you gonna help me do this today. About something really good, your album, Long Way Home, the intro. I love it. Cassandra Lucas, formerly of Changing Faces, the group that brought you hits like Stroke You Up and Get Out. Cassandra is solo and doing it on her own now. Okay.
You're a joy. Thank
Who could forget the epic episode of MTV Ghosted with the lovely Shannon and JayDay? Come through, Shannon. I'm seeing him in months. I want to know, because you were just like, you know how like it's Christmas and you don't think your parents got you a gift because they can't afford their mortgage, but they get you a gift and you were looking like, what you thinking? That's what I want to know.
Honestly, because like I said, like we really hadn't had contact because they really.
That's right. I can interview and host. Click in those descriptions. You'll get links to my videos. Go to that playlist. It's put in order for you, baby. The folder is there. Go through the videos. Get caught up, baby. J.Evans, I can interview. I can host. I do review and recaps, baby. I give you commentary. I, bam, can blow it on up.